that gave me that gospel tract, right? I said, yeah. He says, I want you to know, I read it. I said, man, that's great. He says, and I also want you to know I did what it said. He accepted Christ. That's happened quite a few times. I walked down the street before. I remember one time a guy grabbed me. He was crying and just saying, you've done so much for me. I didn't even know who the guy was. And he says, because you kept being out here and showing us that you care, I want you to know I'm back with my wife now. I've got a job. I love the picture of John. John used to be a member of this church. Every Sunday we have men who are homeless who come to this church. And got a picture one time, John, he was smiling. And he had teeth because John didn't have teeth before. And he said, Stephen, I want you to know it all started here at about my father's business. He was a homeless man. He says, I moved to North Carolina, I bought a house, and I've got my family with me now. And he said it all started there. I can honestly say this, we cannot, and this is not a boasting thing, it's a reality. God counts conversions, but we cannot number the people that we have seen make decisions for Christ. Last week we had 6 make decisions for Christ at this church. Okay. These signs are brand new. They're going to be posted. They're going with us whenever we go to those different locations. Okay. It's just that God is doing some amazing, amazing things. I want us to get a chance to get to know each other a little bit better because I know probably all of you to a degree, but some of us you don't know. Me, here's my story. Born in North Carolina, my mother died when I was 10, my daddy died when I was 11. Didn't know who I was and what I was going to do. I lived with a sister for a while, then I lived with my brother for a while. I grew up in the streets, learning everything wrong to do. I was a drug dealer. I was the personification of a womanizer. I was an alcoholic. Been in jail. Everything that could go wrong with a man's life, that would be me. God saved, remember this, when I was in 11th grade, 12th grade. I was raised, my sister-in-law would tell me this religiously. I'll be glad when you get 18 and get the hell out of my house. I heard that throughout my teenage years. So when I was 18, I quit school, joined the Navy, and lived a life of immorality, debauchery, and drugs for years untold. I remember, this is one of my favorite parts of my testimony. I remember when I'd been in the Navy about 6, 7 years, I said, I'm going to get me a GED. No, about so many years, I said, I'm going to get me a GED before I get out of here. I went at the end of Vietnam. And I remember when I took the test, they called me up front. They said, Mr. Joyce, come forward. Me and about 2 or 3 other people. They said, we can't help you, Mr. Joyce. I said, what do you mean you can't help me? They said, your scores are so bad, there's nothing we can do for you. It was going to be extensive coaching for you. So what did I do? I left there and stayed high for a few more years. Messed around and met Jesus. Somebody introduced me to Jesus Christ. And God began to turn my life upside down. About 8 years had passed, and I said, I'm going to get out of the military this time, but I'm not going to get out until I get my GED. Went back and took the test again. Mr. Joyce, and about 2 or 3 others, this is literally, come forward, please. I said, oh, man, literally, we can't help you. I said, it's that bad? He says, no. You're ready to go before the board and take the test now. There's nothing you need to learn from us. God completely gave all them cells that I was killing with drugs and alcohol. God gave me my mind back, and then he gave me a passion for his word. I never forget, man, when I got my Bible, I read that thing from Genesis to Revelations. Could not believe this good news. Mm-hmm. I don't want to make it too long of a story. And I wish I could say that my life in Christ, once I accepted Christ, was a beautiful thing. I backslid, and it's been a dark time in my life as well. Dishonored the Lord greatly. But you know what? For 20-some years now, I've been running hard for Jesus on this street called Straight. And I would never, in a million years, believe that God would call me into this type of ministry. But also, I never believed that God would, first of all, say that he would call me to be a pastor and have me part of a church that is focused on outreach ministry. You know, some people come to D.C. and we got people who want to minister in the city, but they say they're scared. I'm going to tell you something. I ain't scared. I grew up in this environment. You know, I'm going to tell you this right here in a nutshell. You know what we call ourselves here at the church? Elect rejects. Yeah. Why? Because you name the lifestyle, whether it be moral depravity, whether it be drug, whether it be murder, whether it be a homosexual lifestyle, God has pulled a crew out of those things. If you notice that on the front door of our church, it says acceptance. The world may reject our past, but God embraces it. Because last time I checked, Jesus Christ came to save sinners. Yep. And so we have a ministry that is very unique here. Okay? We are determined to labor, to be focused always, to be ministry-based and not facility-based. I'm excited about what God is doing here, because one thing is this: what you see on Sunday morning does not define our ministry. This is just one of the bases. This is the launching base where God is using us to partner with him, co-laborers with him, to seek and to save the lost. We have a reputation here in D.C. and abroad, because we get quite a few teams from around the country come here. But I will tell you this, and I am not, don't get it twisted, nobody rolls like Northwest Chapel. Nobody rolls like Northwest Chapel. Okay? We have been partners, we have been together, we consider ourselves an extension of Northwest. Yeah, we consider ourselves an extension of that because we do it together. And I can tell you this, in every major crisis that our church has had, hey, Martin! And then I talk to this person, I talk to that person. We say this boldly, and we make it no secret. We do what we do because of the friendships and the partners that we have. Okay? It is impossible for us to reach out and touch so many lives the way we do, that, you know, in Christ, because of the great friends. We knew you since conception. When we had a thought of planning the church, when the first man, Martin Garena, in the basement at 812 Stagway with a laptop, and we were just strategizing, talking about how we were going to plant this church. It's a little bit, I could talk a long time, but I don't want to be the only one talking. While breakfast is almost ready, but I want to invite a few other people to come and tell their story. How you came to know Christ, what's going on in your life, and just your story. I'm sitting down. Who wants to begin?